Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 2020-2021 Centerville Education Foundation Hall of Fame dinner. We are very delighted that you're here. It's been a long time coming. I know everybody's gone through an awful lot over the last pandemic era, and we're so glad that you're here. We have a lot of awards to give out tonight, a lot of recognition. We're very excited about the music that you got to hear tonight. The music that was presented by the Alternative Strings group from Centerville High School. And it was fabulously done, and I want to thank everybody for that. Thank you. You know, even though the 2020 event had to be canceled, I want to let you know that the trustees of the foundation were very committed to recognizing all of the award winners. And it was a great length and of debate among the trustees and disappointment that we had to cancel last year. But this evening, we're going to be presenting awards from last year and this year. So be patient as we kind of navigate that. The process is going to be a little bit different. You've probably also noticed that we are about a third of the representation in the room that is normally here for this event. So we really are very grateful that you were able to make it out tonight, and the trustees all very much appreciate your time. So my name is Dave Gorell. I am a parent of 3 Centerville alumni, and I'm the president of the foundation. And this evening's event was primarily orchestrated by Tony Lehman, so I want to thank her as well. Thank you. So the excellence in education in our schools happens in many ways, and each of the Centerville schools was asked to select a person to receive the Excellence in Education Award for that building. Each recipient was selected because of his or her extraordinary contributions to that school, especially the students that are here and there. An Excellence in Education recipient can be a teacher, staff member, or parent volunteer as decided upon by each building. As a memento, each person receives an engraved paperweight. This year's recipients have theirs, I think, on their table. Last year's were awarded last year and delivered. Because we are honoring both years of recipients, we're going to be reading about each recipient from here rather than have them come up until we get to the Hall of Fame awards. So here we go. You know, actually, before we go, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I know you guys will be impatient to move on, but I'm going to tell you a quick story. I've had the pleasure of working with a number of the foundations around our community and the greater community, and they all look to Centerville as kind of leading the pack, of which, of course, you guys already know, you know, in so many ways. But it was interesting to me how the exchange of ideas went in this kind of group meeting that we had. They were talking about hearing from some of the students, and there were some people involved, and part of the conversation went similar to this. It was sort of like asking one of the teachers, what do you do? And they said, I teach math at such and such a school. And the representative from Centerville worded it completely different, and it really goes to what I think is spectacular about the district and what you all do. But the person responded by saying that they talked about families. They talked about families, and they said, you know, when your kids come home and you ask them how your day was, and they go, all right, or whatever, they kind of grunt. They said that the kids from Centerville always come back with a story, like we did something neat, we did something unusual today, you know, and I thought that was so, they expanded on it, but it was so invigorating because it meant that the work that you all do is profound. The way you do it and the way you're part of this team is amazing. So I really want to share that with you all because I think it was a really interesting way that it was expressed among your peers that are not within the Centerville district. So good for you. Okay, moving on to the awards. Primary Village North is pleased to name Mary Ankenbauer as the 2020 Excellence in Education Award recipient, and the team of Tanya Disher and Dennis Barr as the 2021 co-recipients. Mary taught kindergarten and second grade for 4 years at Klein and John Holt prior to raising her family. Then in 2007, she was part of the inaugural PVN staff as the Spanish enrichment teacher. She transitioned into the role as ESL tutor 6 years ago and was hired just last year as the ELL teacher. Mary is an integral part of PVN, working hard to make sure all students feel welcome, not just the ELL learners. She collaborates extensively with teachers and parents, stays current on the best practices in English language instruction, and incorporates balanced literacy into her teaching, helping children make important connections. She also works hard to bring diverse literature into the classroom and community, ensuring that students have mirrors and windows in their own cultures. Mary is an asset when she pushes into the classroom and willingly invites other students to join her that may be working on similar skills. She makes learning hands-on and concrete by providing real objects that aid in vocabulary development for all students. If there are concerns with any student, Mary spends extra time figuring out ways to support each student's needs. Even with such a demanding job, she's always kind, energetic, encouraging with her students, parents, and staff. Congratulations, Mary. Tanya Disher and Dennis Barr are PVN's day and evening custodians and are considered a dynamic duo. Their dedication and hard work is appreciated every year, but especially this year during the pandemic. When people visit PVN for the first time, they often share how child-oriented and warm the building and culture is. Although the walls are decorated by little artists and the people are friendly, when you look a little closer, you'll see the hard work of Mr. Dennis, also known by the children as Mr. Dentist, and Miss Tanya, our beloved custodians. Floors are sparkling, the windows are handprint free, at least for a minute. Dennis and Tanya take pride in their work and pride in their contribution to a fine learning environment for 600 plus children each day of the year. The list of extras that these amazing individuals have accepted and conquered with a smile is a mile long. We were shorthanded many times this year with no subs available, and either or both of them would volunteer to work longer hours to make sure our building was safe and clean for our children and staff. Cleaning protocols were much more intense and critical, and they took all of our safety quite literally in their hands. And lunch, let's just say setting up a cafe for 250 first graders is a task in a normal year, but this year, setting up the cafe and a gym to allow for social distancing was monumental and a lot of hard work. But they worked together as a team. Archie and Edith, Thelma and Louise, Batman and Robin, and Dennis and Tanya. They come as a pair. Both of these people are just great humans. They possess a strong work ethic, but also great big hearts. One teacher wrote, "I love watching them work, as they can often be seen laughing together or simply enjoying their jobs." Congratulations, Tanya and Dennis. I think that's a great idea. Another great idea from Tony. Tanya and Dennis, please stand, and we'll try that again. And Mary, yes, please. Everybody. The staff at Primary Village South is pleased to announce Jeff Suter and Julie Balzer as their Excellence in Education Award recipients. Jeff is one of the most positive, friendly people you will meet. He makes students, parents, and staff feel welcome and happy to be at PVS. Jeff will tell you how much he loves his job and shows it in his interactions. He exemplifies continued excellence with a positive mindset towards teaching and learning in Centerville. If you are lucky enough to catch Jeff in action with his PE class, you would quickly see how special it is. His choice of words, the lesson structure, and pacing of activities make his classroom, or the gym, an engaging environment for young children. You can tell he has a trusting, respectful, and meaningful connection with his students who all love to be around him. In class, Jeff creates a safe, fun atmosphere where children improve their athleticism, learn how to play together, and experience the art of friendly competition. His students adore him. When he speaks in the class, he has their full attention. It's evident that Jeff loves teaching by the way he greets all of us each time we enter the gym. He is truly a role model for all of us and a reminder that we are lucky to be part of an amazing school community where great teachers can thrive. Jeff, please stand. Where's Jeff? And congratulations. Or not, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, my apologies, Jeff. Sorry about that. Okay. Julie Balzer has been a first grade teacher and most recently a literacy specialist at PVS. Prior to PVS, she taught first grade at John Holt Elementary. She's an inspiring teacher who shares her love of learning not only with her students, but also her colleagues. Julie admits that teaching can be messy and is not afraid to make mistakes. She makes the rest of the staff feel comfortable in taking risks and trying new strategies. She's willing to jump into classrooms and to model a lesson or lend a helping hand. She goes beyond our expectations to make sure her students, their families, and her colleagues are supported in the most positive way. She's respected by her ability to listen, problem solve, and take initiative. Julie is also known for her knowledge of literacy and teaching at-risk students. Teachers come to her for advice and guidance in helping students achieve their highest potential. She empowers those around her to seek positive solutions so that students make progress. She is a natural at building great relationships with a fun, loving personality that is contagious and admired. She truly loves kids and puts their needs at the heart of her work. Julie is a true joy to be around and work alongside. She exemplifies the spirit of excellence for PVS and Centerville City Schools. Julie, please stand. Congratulations. For our next school, Klein Elementary is proud to have selected Laura Benitez and Susanufoy as their Excellence in Education Award recipients. Laura is a third grade teacher who has spent the last 12 years at Klein. She began her career at Bishop Leibold before taking some time off to raise for her 4 children. We feel so lucky to have her at Klein, where Laura works tirelessly for her students, ensuring each child has the opportunity to grow and meet his or her learning potential. She's a natural connecting with families, always finding a way to build positive rapport. It's not uncommon to see Laura at a student's basketball game or a cheer competition, rooting them on outside the classroom. Laura's students feel like they are a part of a family. She provides a safe, comforting learning environment where students are eager to share and improve, all the while still able to be themselves. Laura is always a team player, willing to help out any colleague, whether through integrating curriculum, mentoring a new teacher, or stepping in to help out with an after-school club. Throughout her time at Klein, she has been involved in several committees and clubs, including our TIER team, CCTA, Literacy Committee, Student Council, and our STEM Club. It's hard to find a more positive, driven, professional teacher than Laura. Congratulations, Laura. Please stand. Susanufoy began her career teaching, as well as serving as principal for special needs students in Boston, Massachusetts. She taught 4th grade before staying home with her children, and in 2001 she began teaching for Centerville City Schools, and has spent the last 19 years as an intervention specialist at Klein Elementary. Sue's dedication and commitment to her students has been highlighted even further through this year's past year's pandemic. She quickly stepped in to make any accommodation necessary to ensure her students were able to get onto their devices and learn remotely. When all other staff were working from home this year, Susan asked if her IEP students could come in person for instruction, knowing what each of her students needed most to be successful. Sue is always a team player, willing to help out any colleague, whether through integrating curriculum, mentoring a new teacher, or stepping in to help out with a committee. She is a true co-teacher, making sure all students, whether on an IEP or not, are getting their learning needs met. Student growth and achievement, socially, emotionally, academically, are always at the forefront of her teaching and instruction. There is no doubt she fully believes in her students and their potential to learn. Susan is the type of caring teacher you hope your own children may have. We are very lucky to have her at Klein. Sue, please stand. Congratulations. Next up is Driscoll Elementary. Driscoll Elementary is honored to name Dara Bullock and Cheryl Sharp as their 2020 Co-Excellence in Education Award recipients, and Katie Combs as the 2021 recipient. Dara is an instructional aide who always goes above and beyond. She has a wealth of knowledge, but she never wants to stop learning. She works tirelessly to meet the needs of all learners, no matter what challenges may bring. While she travels throughout many classrooms in the building, she is an asset to all, students and staff. She excels at establishing rapport, building relationships, and holding students accountable so they achieve their highest potential. Cheryl is an instructional aide who not only supports our students in the classroom, but also in our Voyager program. Cheryl exemplifies Driscoll pride. She is a problem solver. She's been known to solve problems you didn't even know you had. Cheryl shows respect and integrity in all that she does. She is determined to help each student reach his or her fullest potential and do whatever she can to support the staff here. Cheryl's empathetic nature is abundantly clear to all who know her. Derek, please stand. Is she here? Congratulations. And Cheryl, thank you. Katie Combs has an enthusiasm, love, and passion for teaching that is evident every day. She's a dynamic teacher who captivates her learners through memorable experiences and high expectations. Katie encourages students to do hard things and challenges them to be the best they can be. She accepts her students for who they are and ensures that they become better versions of themselves. While giving her students room to grow, she also provides a safety net to fail, reflect, and try again. As a colleague, Katie is easily approachable and willing to talk to anyone. She reaches out to others in pursuit of her own learning and asks questions to seek new understanding. She's also generous in sharing her ideas and resources with others. She has been a valued member of the 3rd grade team and 5th grade team at Driscoll Elementary since 2003. We're fortunate to have her as part of the Driscoll team. Katie, stand. Congratulations. Next, the staff and community of Dr. John Holt are proud to recognize Maria Rigling and Kevin Reynolds as their recipients of Excellence in Education Awards. Maria has served the John Holt community in a myriad of ways. In 2014, when her oldest daughter started school, she began by volunteering in the classroom and joining our PTO, and quickly became an important member of that group. She's been integral in all levels of the PTO, serving as the vice president for 3 years, and then as the PTO co-president. In addition to that official title, she has picked up many other extra volunteer positions that were not filled by other parents. Our school community has continued to run smoothly and seamlessly due to her efforts and her sacrifice of personal time. She also took over as the coordinator of our building academic volunteer program. John Holt has always been blessed with many community academic volunteers, and this doesn't happen without a dedicated effort from our coordinator. We are as strong this year as ever. PTO co-president and academic volunteer coordinator would seem to be enough for anyone, right? Wow. But when a very important levy was on the ballot, Maria volunteered to be the building coordinator for the levy campaign. She worked to disseminate accurate levy information and volunteer opportunities to the community, handed out yard signs at various events, participated in voter adoption, neighborhood canvassing, and phone banks, and worked as a poll greeter on election day. And yet, our John Holt PTO and parent activities continued unabated and unaffected, and Maria's positive attitude and her demeanor never faltered. Every area she touched was detailed, on target, and delivered with a smile. She has selflessly given a tremendous amount of her time and energy to not only John Holt community, but also the Centerville City Schools District. And it's our pleasure to recognize Maria for the excellence she has shown all of us. Maria, stand, please. Congratulations. Kevin Reynolds has been an integral part of Dr. John Holt's team since he was hired in 2013 as a custodian and is well liked by both staff and students. As with everyone, his duties have expanded in the new normal of the pandemic. Kevin's conscientious attention to detail in cleaning and sanitizing contacted surfaces has allowed our staff to check their worries at the door as we focus on the business of educating the students. One person states relationships with students are just as important as educating them. Kevin knows the kids by name, and they in turn enjoy interacting with him as he goes about his day. He's very vocal in his encouragement of them to work hard, always do their very best, and stay in school. In addition to his daily cheerful management of the lunchroom, students see him in our leadership roles. He is in charge of the safety patrol and goes out of his way to include some of the at-risk students in the daily routine of flag folding. He's a positive role model for many students, demonstrating his strong work ethic and can-do attitude in any task that he engages in. Kevin is often asked to train other custodians in the district that are newly hired as subs, which speaks volumes to his abilities. We are grateful to have Kevin as our custodian through the years and find he is a very deserving of the Excellence in Education Award. Kevin, please stand. Congratulations. Normandy Elementary is honored to have Josie Dreerup and Sarah Storer as their Excellence in Education Award recipients. The best teachers are continually experimenting with new methods and ideas to create the best learning environments for their students. Josie has been teaching and learning at Normandy Elementary for 20 years. She began her career teaching 4th grade and has continued her work with students in 2nd grade. Her collaborative nature, desire for growth, and her contagious laughter brightens the lives of students and staff. She's always looking for new ways to improve her craft so that she can be the best and reach each and every student. Her tireless efforts to serve her students and others in the ideal representation of the teachers of Centerville City Schools, students and staff are honored to recognize Josie, a VIP in the Normandy community. Josie, please stand. Congratulations. A quote from Abigail Adams says, "Learning is not attained by chance. It must be sought for with ardor and attendance to with diligence." Sarah Storer is a dedicated member of the Normandy staff who always goes above and beyond her required duties as an intervention specialist. She has a natural gift for what she does every day with the most fragile learners. She easily anticipates the needs of students and often intervenes before problems arise. She is proactive in her approach when dealing with our special education students and has a way of calming and consoling them when needed. Sarah has a calm yet firm nature. She instills needed boundaries while showing great care and compassion. It is evident that the students trust her immensely. As a diligent teacher, Sarah is active in the teaching and learning process, ensuring that students are engaged as she looks out for the students who are not succeeding. She finds great joy and satisfaction in her students' learning and their growth. Sarah's dedication to the profession warrants recognition by our Centerville staff and the community. Sarah, please stand. Congratulations. Stingley Elementary School chose to recognize Nancy Cuiwat and Michelle Mullen as their Excellence in Education recipients. Nancy has wholeheartedly given so much of her life to her students. The Cuiwat kiddos, as she affectionately calls them, once a Cuiwat kiddo, always a Cuiwat kiddo, was one of her many mantras. She not only keeps her students' individual needs in mind, but she's always thinking of each individual family and their situation as possible, and their possible needs. A former student and parent shared, "We believe that Mrs. Cuiwat is a teacher that has helped many children escape labels by exploring their strengths." Another former student and parent shared that Nancy made learning exciting, more interesting, and fun. She would push us so we would achieve our personal best, which showed we can do anything if we put our minds to it. She turned the entire class into a family. Years after students have left her class, they still talk about the continent song, the Polar Express party, the ringing of the bell for the school on Pioneer Day, and every Wednesday, the singing of the Hump Day song. Nancy was built on lasting legacy in the hearts and the minds of hundreds of students and families over the years. She retired last year, I believe, and I don't believe is here. So please join me in congratulating her. Okay, who's getting tired of me reading? All right. Okay, Michelle Mullenkamp. Okay, this has been a historical year of firsts. Each week, sometimes each day, we've had to adjust and rethink the way we engage our students. Keeping them interested, motivated, and involved is a challenge we all face. But Michelle has done a remarkable job teaching and learning with her students while making sure that the experience is fun and memorable. She has mastered the skills needed to teach her students online. They are energized by her engaging lessons and interactive projects. She's organized and clear about learning goals so students are able to confidently rise to her expectations. When students are physically at school, they're often participating in interactive group work and learning by doing, which is the best kind of learning. Michelle is patient, kind-hearted, caring, focused, and has a passion for teaching that you see every day. Students and teachers know that she's committed to their success. Parents respect her opinion and often marvel at how well she has managed their child's educational experience, especially this year. She's approachable and communicates often with her families about how they can work as a team to support the child's learning and growth. Michelle, please stand. Congratulations. For our last elementary school, Weller Elementary School declared Joshua Ward as their 2020 Excellence in Education recipient, and Jan Tangeman as the 2021 award recipient. Josh is now working at PVN, but this is what Weller Elementary had to say about him for last year. Josh originally graduated with a degree in computer drafting and design in 2005. He worked as an architectural drafter until 2008 when the market crashed. At that time, he decided to pursue a degree in special education, and he started his educational career in 2013 at Trotwood Preparatory and Fitness Academy. In 2015, he was hired at Weller Elementary. Since then, he has been excelling in everything he does. Josh currently teaches fourth grade students as an intervention specialist, though in the past years he also taught third and fifth graders. He is a listening ear to teachers when they have a difficult student, giving support and feedback about ways to help. Always willing to give up his time to help another in need, Josh is certainly a first team first colleague, whether it is an academic, social, or emotional. He does what it takes to ensure student success. Josh is also on 2 district committees, the Elementary Math Vertical Team and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and he currently serves as the primary principal designate for Weller. In 2018, he received his principal's license from the University of Dayton in the hopes of eventually being an administrator. He is very dependable in his role, stepping in whenever the principal is not available. Josh is a problem solver and never afraid to take on a challenge. He's a valuable asset to Team Weller. Josh, please stand, and congratulations. Jan is serving in her 28th year as school nurse in Centerville City Schools, which she loves. She currently serves both Weller and Tower Heights, but she also worked at CKV, Stingley, and John Hole. Jan has been a vital member to Team Weller each and every year. Her experience, knowledge around all the medical information surrounding our students is key. She works closely with the families and the staff to make sure all students are safe and successful at Weller. In this unprecedented school year, Jan is being tasked with overseeing the COVID-19 protocols, which includes the contact tracing and quarantine for all our students and staff. This is a massive undertaking, including many late nights, to assure that all our staff and students remain safe. Not once during these situations did Jan lose her composure. She has always been a voice people can turn to for sound advice and reassurance. We're very proud to have Jan represent Weller as our Excellence in Education recipient. Jan, please stand. Congratulations. Okay, now we're moving to the middle school. So we'll start with MagSig. So MagSig Middle School chose Ann Frymark to receive the 2020 Excellence in Education Award. Ann is not here tonight, but I'll share with you the sentiment. Academic volunteer Ann Frymark was selected to receive the 2020 Excellence in Education Award for all her hard work, thoughtfulness, time, and dedication. She began working with MagSig's French students nearly 10 years ago, and she plays a crucial role in helping especially those students new to our district with no prior French experience. She impresses those who see her working with students by her ability to develop strong rapport and exhibit patience and kindness in all her interactions. She plans special ways to celebrate French holidays and bring thoughtful treats that are culturally relevant to her students. Anne is also knowledgeable about French-speaking Canada and has prepared interactive presentations that align with the 8th grade curriculum on winter sports in Quebec. Each year she brings in authentic cultural artifacts to show students, and she describes canoe races on the St. Lawrence River, ice palace sculptures, and even her own adventures trying dog sledding. Students adore Anne, and it has been such a pleasure and a privilege to work with her at MagSig. She has made a huge positive impact in the lives of many young people, and we thank her for all she does. Merci beaucoup to Anne. This year, the MagSig staff proudly names their colleague and leader, Principal Stacey Westendorf, as the 2021 Excellence in Education Award recipient. This is what they had to say. Humans fear the unknown, so much of what we do and how we go about our lives has changed over the past year. In challenging times, genuine leaders emerge and show their true talents. Stacey has always been communicative, organized, and a supportive leader. In the face of the pandemic crisis, those skills were put to test, but her ability to maintain a voice of calm and rational expectations has prevailed. Last summer, she began holding regularly scheduled Q&A Zoom meetings for the staff. Her meetings, emails, and willingness to be accessible at any time encouraged the staff to feel that we are a team and that each contribution is valued. Her meetings were so helpful and appreciated that staff from other buildings attended her sessions and requested her emails in an effort to track progress and remain calm. As the year has moved forward, continually changing between remote and blended learning, Stacey's guidance and decision-making has remained steady. She maintains clear and frequent communication and advocates for the mental and emotional well-being of our students and families. She encourages safe instruction and community-building practices, which keep our quarantine numbers to a minimum. She continues to think outside of the box for solutions to daily events and does it all in a composed manner, leading by example and spreading a sense of perseverance throughout the building. We are all grateful to have Stacey Westendorf as our leader every year, but especially this year. It is with appreciation that we have selected her to receive the Excellence in Education Award. Stacey, please stand. Congratulations. Tower Heights Middle School would like to recognize Phyllis Schulp, and Kate Baldwin as their Excellence in Education Award recipients. Since retiring in 2017, Phyllis has been a valuable asset to the academic volunteer program. She is always willing to volunteer her time to help students with academic challenges, and her dedication to these young people has been unwavering. Phyllis not only works with students, but she takes the time to meet with teachers to get a better understanding of each student, the kind of support needed, and to share the progress that they are making towards becoming a successful student. Phyllis grew up in Springboro and graduated from Ball State University with a degree in education with majors in German, French, and math. During her career, she taught middle and high school math and also German in various locations around the country, as well as an Air Force base in Japan. After taking time off for her children, Phyllis attended the United Theological Seminary in Dayton, earning her a master's in divinity, and was ordained in the United Methodist Church. She served churches for 15 years. She taught in the Religious Studies Department at UD and eventually earned a PhD in theology there at the age of 75. A lifelong learner, Phyllis has a passion for teaching and for working with young people. She's come full circle, being back to where she started, teaching at the middle school level. Tower Heights hopes she continues to be an integral part of the volunteer program. Phyllis, see you here? Please stand. Yes? She's not here. I'm sorry, she's not here yet. Kate Baldwin is an exceptional educator and colleague. She's been teaching ELA at Tower Heights for the past 11 years, and during this time, staff have witnessed her learn, develop, and mature as a professional. She accepts nothing but the best from herself, which allows her to persevere through challenges and grow from her experience in the classroom. Kate understands the needs of all her students and differentiates all aspects of her in her classroom. Because she is aware of her students' capabilities and learning styles, she can provide the necessary support or challenge for each learner. She sincerely believes in each of her students and has the expectation that they will succeed in her classroom and in life. In addition to being a teacher, Kate is a mentor and a role model for her students. She exhibits professionalism, kindness, honesty, and respect. She greets her students as they walk into her room, gives encouraging words, and has an authentic conversation with them. Her connection with students creates a rapport that makes them feel comfortable to trust and believe in her. She is an adult that will give respect and have an open mind without judgment. Kate also devotes time to sharing her passion for teaching with other educators. She has taught GIS professional development classes and Winter-Summer Institute classes for Centerville City Schools, and she regularly volunteers to participate in district and school committees. Ultimately, Kate has numerous qualities that distinguish her as a superior educator, and that she is the 2021 Tower Heights Excellence in Education recipient. Kate, please stand. Congratulations. Watts Middle School is honored to present Karen Odom and Melissa Balzer the 2020 and 21 Excellence in Education Award. Neither recipient was here this evening, I believe, if that's true. Karen has been a math intervention specialist at Watts Middle School for 20 years. She is a hardworking, dedicated, creative, and caring teacher who is supportive of her students as well as her colleagues. She is an educator who never settles for anything less than what is the absolute best in the curriculum and experiences she provides to her students. Karen cares about the overall well-being of all of her students. As an advisor, she's always available to listen to her students and support them in any way she can. Karen not only has been a leader at Watts in many ways, but she also has taken a leadership role serving on various district committees over the years. She's been a member of the Wellness Committee and the Professional Development Committee. It is an honor to recognize Karen as the Excellence in Education recipient for 2020. Melissa Balzer was meant to be an educator. It's in her heart. Melissa has been an ELA teacher at Watts Middle School for nearly 15 years. She's an inspiration to students and staff alike. Melissa's love of teaching is evident every day as her enthusiasm makes learning engaging and exciting for students. Her dedication to students is much more than just teaching content. She cares deeply about all of her students and is concerned about their social and emotional well-being. She's an advocate for those who struggle or aren't able to advocate for themselves. She brings sunlight to staff, students, and parents. Her students are fortunate to have her as a teacher, advocate, and cheerleader all in one. Her kind heart has had a positive impact on us all. Congratulations, Melissa. Finally, it is with great pleasure that the Centerville High School has chosen Scott Knopp and Ryan Mullen as their 2020 and 2021 Excellence in Education Award recipients. Don't believe Scott is here tonight. Here's his bio. Scott has been teaching English classes in the East Unit at CHS since 1999. He is also the head of the English department. He enjoys being able to help kids connect to the powerful ideas available in the world's best literature, and he loves to let them express their ideas, opinions, and beliefs. While it can be challenging to direct that energy, he likes the unpredictable nature of young people. Scott works tirelessly to make sure that everyone, parent, administrator, teacher, and student, has a place at the table and that all voices are heard. He does this because he believes that all are important stakeholders when it comes to education. He cares deeply about students' social, emotional well-being, and his work with the Gay Straight Alliance at CHS typifies his commitment to making sure all people around him feel valued and welcomed. Scott not only improves the lives of students, but also those of his fellow teachers through his time at Centerville. Scott's effort over the course of his career has made his classroom a place of refuge for teachers and students alike. Congratulations, Scott. Who thought talking would be so hard? Ryan Mullenkamp is not related to Michelle, just so you know. But he is an industrial arts teacher at Centerville High School. For Ryan, teaching isn't a job or a career, it's a vocation. It's like he's on a great adventure that we call teaching, and he gets to bring students along with him. Over the years, Ryan has done amazing things in his classroom, always to the highest levels of quality, and always way more than what we've asked of him. From incorporating writing to incredible demonstrations to effectively evaluating what his students have learned, Ryan is always on the, quote, cutting edge of educational instruction. One story that gives you a glimpse into Ryan and the way he operates took place a couple of years ago. He heard that students with disabilities at Watts Middle School wanted to garden, but due to some physical challenges would struggle with gardening on the ground. So he organized a collaborative effort that brought high school students to Watts to see what they could do to help. High school students constructed, delivered, and assembled raised gardening beds at Watts Middle School. He also organized a trip for middle school students to come to Centerville High School to see the shop where those garden boxes were made. Students who otherwise may never have interacted with each other did, due to Ryan's willingness to get involved. Students in Ryan's class have fun, explore, and are challenged to push themselves to try new things, take risks, learn how to work with each other, and be respectful of others, while being affirmed, complimented, and encouraged. Ryan has a special gift to see the best in students. He chooses to see the kind of person they can mature into and is excited to be in a position to make that kind of difference. Ryan works incredibly hard to be the great teacher that he is, and he is so good for young adults. He is a reminder to all of us why we decide to become teachers. Ryan, please stand. Congratulations. Recognition of teachers is such a pleasure since they are the strength of any school district. The Centerville City Schools are fortunate to have so many caring and dedicated teachers, staff, and volunteers. Congratulations again to all of you. In this next part of our program, we'll introduce the inductees to the Centerville Education Foundation Hall of Fame. In addition to the foundation providing funding grants for classroom projects each year and scholarships to seniors, the purpose of the Hall of Fame is to recognize, first, a distinguished alumna or alumnus, an outstanding student of the current graduating year, an outstanding educator, and a member of our community who actively promotes and advances the quality and well-being of Centerville City Schools as a citizen advocate, and on occasion, a Special Service Award or Lifetime Achievement Award. Each Hall of Fame inductee will receive a plaque in recognition of his or her contribution. Their name will also be inscribed on the Centerville Education Foundation Hall of Fame plaque at the Centerville High School, and their picture will join previous inductees in the photo gallery there as well. The foundation receives nominations from many outstanding candidates, so the inductees have truly earned their place among the very best of our district. Their personal bios, coupled with comments from nominating letters, are posted to our website. For those of you who don't know, centervilleeducation.org. Right. You can see them there and to see why they were selected for each award. Okay, let's begin. This next award is special because it is not determined by the CEF trustees, based upon nominations from the public, but rather it's a collaborative or collective decision by members of the graduating class of Centerville High School as a whole to select the student they feel most represents excellence in scholarship, leadership, and service. The students of the class of 2020 selected Abigail Cooper to receive the 2020 Outstanding Student Award. Mr. Carroll, John Carroll, the coordinating principal from Centerville High School, will say a few words about Abigail.
I'll give you a little break. I'll give you as much a break as I can. So before I say this, I do have to say it's a very humbling experience every year to be here at this event and hear everything that everybody does. I feel lucky every day to get up and come to work in our school district, to live in our community, and to have my kids attend our school district. So kudos to all the recipients so far and to the inductees in the Hall of Fame for everything you do. Thank you. It might not surprise, as my mentor is sitting over here, Dave McDaniel, I was kind of excited that I got to speak before him because I don't like to follow him. I don't like to follow Dr. Henderson either, for that matter. But Abby's speech is sitting on my desk in my office, so that's pretty exciting. But the good news is I can pretty much speak about Abigail Cooper from memory because she's such an outstanding student. So if you look in the program, it will mention that she had a 4.53 GPA. She was in the top 5% of her class, but that's not what defines her. What defines her in my mind is just who she was for her students and for our community for the entire 4 years that she was at Centerville High School. I can speak from memory because I still stay in touch with her because I'm writing every letter of recommendation I can for her to get her an internship. She's at Ohio State University and she's been a Buckeye-Thon candidate, and she is looking for Children's Medical and University of Cincinnati Medical to get some internships. And she's an amazing young lady, so we're trying to get her connected as much as we can. When I think of Abby Cooper, I just think of every day she was at my counter in my office. Like, there's Abby, every morning. And it was because she had an idea about Spirit Chain to raise money for charities. She was driven. She and Simran Saranan both came together and decided to do a Spirit Festival during Spirit Week. It's never been done before. And if you don't know about Spirit Chain is completely driven by the class officers. Some people think that the adults are driving the train on that. We're not. We're giving kids leadership opportunity, and they take that opportunity and they run with it. Abby and Simran took that opportunity together and ran and created a Spirit Festival, and they raised a record-breaking $72,500 for charities in the Centerville, Washington Township and Dayton region. So I'm incredibly proud of Abby for that. The list of clubs and organizations includes HOSA, National Honor Society. Any way that a kid could help somebody, Abby Cooper was there to help. And so I can speak to these things from memory because she was just an outstanding young lady. Every letter of recommendation that I write for Abby Cooper says the same thing at the end. No one will regret accepting her into your program or hiring her ever. She's amazing. So it's really great for me to be able to get up here and congratulate Abby on her Hall of Fame induction for 2020. She deserves the biggest round of applause. Thank you. I should have said that. I'll say it next time.
I think we're going to have a video now with Abby actually sharing her thoughts and appreciation for the award.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to stand here today. I would like to give a huge thank you to the Centerville Education Foundation for this very special award. Centerville High School and the Centerville community have truly had a great impact on my life, and I'm so thankful for all of the memories, the education, and the great opportunities that Centerville provided me with. I feel very lucky to have attended a school that has such a great support system and such a great environment. Thank you so much to all of the staff, teachers, and administrators for all of your hard work to make Centerville High School as great as it is. While it is crazy to say that I am now standing here as an alumni of Centerville High School, even though I'm not physically attending, the high school and the Centerville community will always stay with me in my heart. Thank you so much again to the Centerville Education Foundation, and congratulations to the other inductees.
The quality of education in the Centerville City Schools is evidenced in many ways in many outstanding alumni, and the 2020 honoree is no exception. I welcome to the podium Mr. Dave McDaniel, former Centerville High School principal, to present the 2020 Outstanding Alumnus Award to 1987 CHS graduate Matt Carper.
Thank you. On the way down here tonight, I was thinking, in the last 30 years, there have been about 25,000 graduates of Centerville High School. And during that 25 years, there have been 25 people who have received this award. So you can see it is very, very special. But before that, I need to introduce the parents of Matt Carper. And Matt, I wouldn't want to embarrass you, but your father is been a member of the Centerville community from the day that he interrupted my lunch in this Klein building of Centerville High School. We were eating there in what was then the home ec room, having a nice conversation, and in walks this person, this young man. It says, hello, hello, I'm going to be a teacher at Centerville High School. We all turned around and looked. Well, who is this guy? He's from Heidelberg. He was telling us he was going to be a teacher, and he hadn't even interviewed yet. And we all shook our head and went on eating. But he stayed here his whole career, and Bev and Ken have been outstanding community members in more ways than one, and they have raised a young man who we all are proud of. It's been rough going in the last few years, as you well know, in this man's career. So I need to read to you a little bit about Matt so you can kind of get a feel of what this award means. It's kind of different award than in the past for the recipient. This man hasn't given us thousands of dollars. He hasn't brought us all kinds of recognition at the government or state level, but he is on the job every day. He graduated from Centerville High School in 1987. Following that, he joined the Army National Guard and earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Following that, he returned to Dayton and became a member of the Dayton Police Department. In January of 1999, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant and had various assignments including patrol, strike force, unit, drug unit, and acting watch warden. And I guarantee you, those weren't jobs for an assistant principal. Those were jobs, as you can actually realize, on the street. In 2003, Matt was promoted to lieutenant, served as commander of the Central Downtown Business District. He also was in Narcotics Bureau, the Internal Affairs Bureau. In 2012, he was promoted to the rank of major and served as the Dayton West Patrol Operations Commander. In February of 2016, Matt was named Chief of Operations, placing him in charge of 3 patrol districts. And in August, he was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, but maintained his assignments as Chief of Operations. In overseeing the affairs, strategic planning, investigation, narcotics, violent crime, and budget and grant administration bureaus. He has been very busy. As we know, what happened in Dayton in 2019 was a very difficult year for the city of Dayton. The destructive tornadoes, the Oregon District mass shootings, the Ku Klux Klan rally, the murder on on-duty officer, and the tragic loss of 2 small children in a chase downtown. All of these, Lieutenant Matt Carper was put in front of the public and put in front of the TV cameras and in the responsibility of administration. He does have some hobbies. He likes to play golf, and he also likes to run. For some reason that just kind of maybe giggle a little bit. He's on the run. And his wife, Maggie, is an assistant prosecutor for the Montgomery County prosecutor's office. They live in Dayton, and they have 2 sons. And I am very proud today to say that this alumnus, who graduated from Centerville High School, was actually what we are looking for in the development of students. Academics, naturally, but getting along and service to our friends, service to our state, our city, and service to our country. Matt has those characteristics, but he's very calm, as you can imagine, has to be in that job, and is under control. And I'm going to leave it right there because I know that the chief of police in Dayton is going to retire. But who knows what might happen? Never know. So we're very proud today to have Matt Carper as our outstanding alumnus and from Centerville High School. Matt Carper.
Wow, thank you. First of all, I wanted to congratulate all the award recipients. Just exceptional demonstration of professionalism and dedication this whole evening. Wonderful stories. So thank you very much and congratulations to you. Thank you, Mr. McDaniel, for the nomination, and Mr. Francis as well. Thank you for the awards committee, the selection committee, for lowering their standards in this category for 1 year. I do appreciate that. I do want to thank my wonderful wife, Maggie, and my parents, Ken and Bev, for being here tonight and for their support. I had a great fortune of going to being born and raised here in Centerville and going through a wonderful school system. I had fantastic teachers, just like a lot of you sitting in this room, and teachers who had their hands full trying to keep my attention through high school. So I do appreciate that, and a lenient principal. Thank you, sir. Also, as you've been told, my father taught school here for 32 years. So this award means a lot to my family and to me. So thank you for that. I've been a Dayton police officer for about 29 years now, and just had the great fortune of working with exceptional men and women in the Dayton Police Department. And on behalf of them, thank you very much for your support, and thank you again for this award.
It's exciting to discover just how many people care deeply for the Centerville schools and for the community at large. Education is a team effort for teachers, parents, and students, and every community is dependent upon the effort of our volunteers. To recognize their contributions, the foundation established the Citizen Advocate Award. I'd like to call Mark Carey, the biotechnology teacher at Centerville High School, to the podium to introduce the 2020 Citizen Advocate, Brian Lokai.
Hello, as Dave said, my name is Mark Carey, and I'm the biotechnology teacher at Centerville High School. And I'm here tonight to introduce Dr. Brian Lokai, the recipient of the 2020 Centerville Education Foundation Citizen Advocate Award. Brian Lokai is a Centerville High School graduate from the class of 1985, and he is also a graduate of The Ohio State University, where he earned his doctorate in veterinary medicine. After graduating from Ohio State, Brian returned to Centerville to practice medicine at the Suburban Veterinary Clinic, the same vet clinic he has worked at since age 16. In his professional career, Dr. Lokai is involved in a variety of organizations. He is on the Animal Use and Care Committee at Wittenberg University and is a guest speaker each year at the University of Dayton for the biology department. Dr. Lokai also provides free vet services for the Humane Society and SIXA, as well as the captive wildlife at Five Rivers Metro Park and the Glen Helen Raptor Center. For over a decade, Brian has been a valuable resource to the Career Education Department at Centerville High School, specifically to me and the biotechnology program. Brian has graciously provided supervision and guidance to my students on various animal research projects, and he has mentored over 100 students, allowing some of them to even job shadow at his vet clinic. Brian has also served as an advisory board member for the biotechnology program at Centerville High School. In addition, Brian is an active board member of the Centerville Wrestling Alumni Association, and he coached the girls' varsity lacrosse team for several years while his daughters were in high school. Dr. Brian Lokai is extremely deserving of the Citizens Advocate Award both professionally and personally, as he has had a positive impact in the community where he lives and works, especially for those of us who have been fortunate enough to work him at the high school. So congratulations and thank you, Dr. Lokai.
So I thought this was going to be a Zoom meeting, so luckily I threw some pants on at the last minute. And I also thought the pandemic was going to get me out of this speech last year. It's not so lucky. I'd like to thank the foundation, of course, for the award, and Mr. Carey for thinking of me. What he does with the biotechnology program is remarkable. The amount of programs that Centerville offers their students is unbelievable. I've always had a special place in my heart for educators. I started with the Centerville schools in 1975. We moved here. I didn't know anybody. I was a little tiny dude. And my fifth grade teacher, Molly Puckett, now known as Molly Petch, recognized that I was a lonely little boy and turned me on to the science tables and the fossils and the books and the guinea pig in the classroom. And from that fifth grade adventure, I was able to become a veterinarian. An hour and a half ago, I was inducing a dog to vomit up the second sock that it swallowed the past week, so what a great job. This is a definite improvement on the day. I progressed from, I lost touch with Mrs. Petch for 35 years. And because she had married and changed her name. And through networking at the veterinary clinic, I was able to find her, locate her, get her email. I sent her a letter 35 years later telling her how influential she was in my life, teaching me to learn to love nature and science. She would sneak our whole class down into Grant Park. No permission slips, no chaperones, on a Friday. And she said, if you fall in the creek, I am dead. And we listened to her. She had total control of that class through love and compassion and spirited learning. And to this day, I revere her. I connected up with her. I took care of her dog, Annie, and still keep in touch with her. I progressed on to 3 hard years at Hadley Watts under the watchful eye of Dr. Fred Lindley. And just like Abby Cooper, I had several meetings with Mr. Lindley, maybe of a different nature than Ms. Cooper. When I heard that my principal from Centerville High School was sitting right behind me, it sent shivers down my spine. I turned around, and in fairness to me, I only had one, I'll call it a meeting with Mr. McDaniels, and it worked out pretty well for both of us. But truly, educators make a difference, and I think that the best thing we can do for teachers is get out of their way. They are some of the most creative, spirited, dedicated people that I've ever met. I've been influenced by many of them. Many, 20 years of education. Many teachers have touched me. And when you're having a really bad day and you don't think you're getting into those little tiny heads, I hope that 37 years later you get a letter from somebody that says you made a difference, because I think you guys are doing that. So I really appreciate you all. I think everyone in this room probably could win this award, and many more at the schools. So keep doing what you're doing, keep believing in what you believe, and you are making a difference. Let's see, what else was I going to say? I think that's about it. No. I could show you some x-rays of some things that dogs have swallowed. That's always exciting, but thank you very much.
The next Hall of Fame award inductee is being honored for her long-standing record of service to a popular extracurricular activity for Centerville students, Destination Imagination. The 2020 Special Service Award goes to Mrs. D. Gordon. I'd like to call CEF trustee Doug Trout to come to the podium to say a few words about Dee. Doug?
When I was asked to introduce my fellow DI coach and friend, Dee Gordon, for this award, I was beyond excited and I was honored. And when I walked in here tonight, I ran into my high school speech teacher. So I guess the pressure's on. And if that weren't worse, my vet's here too. I'm sorry. Sorry, Maggie. Sorry, Ken. One of the first assignments Mr. Carper gave me in high school in speech class was to lip sync a song. Okay? And as an awkward 10th grader, there's probably nothing more mortifying. I got through the song, and this is a true story. I chipped my tooth in the first verse of that Black Crowes song, and I finished. So this should be a piece of cake. Thanks, Ken. Didn't intend to do that. Okay, for the last 18 years, Dee Gordon has tirelessly served in various leadership roles within the Destination Imagination organization. She began in 2003 when the Stingley principal at the time recommended her kids for DI, and she started as a coach. Her role continued, along with her husband Warren, throughout their children's tenure in the Centerville school system. And then ultimately she became involved in the parent support group booster organization, which I am a member of as well. But what speaks volumes of her is not just her tireless and dedicated service. After her children graduated, she continued her role on the DI board and has served the last 10 years as the district coordinator. For those of you who aren't involved in the DI organization, Centerville is a powerhouse, with many teams advancing and winning at the regional, state, and globals level. I've been a coach for 9 years, and it's just a phenomenal organization. Dee has enriched the lives of literally thousands of students through the years by ensuring that this organization remains strong and has all the resources available to them, both from the school and from the parents. She is precisely the type of dedicated and talented leader that this Special Service Award was created for. As I said, I've served with her on the DI parent board for many years and have seen firsthand her tireless dedication to keeping this organization strong. Centerville is full of a number of great institutions, and I can look across this room and see countless examples of it. But it is really the people that make up these institutions that really carry the torch and keep these institutions strong. So with that, it is my pleasure to present the 2020 Special Service Award to Dee Gordon. Oh, I'm not done. I got 10 more minutes. No, Dee was not available tonight, so she gave us a few words to say. So I will say them on her behalf. She says, "Thank you to the Centerville Education Foundation Board of Trustees for the very meaningful recognition I received in 2020 for my work with Centerville Destination Imagination. It has been my privilege to be a part of this incredible program over the past 18 years. And while it is extremely rewarding to be honored for my work with DI, the honor is truly mine to be able to keep creativity and imagination alive and active among the students of Centerville. I'm beyond grateful to be inducted into the CEF Hall of Fame and deeply appreciative for receiving the Special Service Award because DI itself is so very special. Thank you, Deb Nelson, for my sincere nomination. Thank you to Warren Gordon, who is equally deserving of this award, as we are true partners in bringing Destination Imagination to the students of Centerville. And thank you to the CEF once again. Thank you.
Our next inductee to the Centerville Education Foundation Hall of Fame joins a distinguished group of educators who have all been recognized for their contributions towards educating our children, providing guidance to their peers, and improving the quality of instruction in our district. Mrs. Caroline Slocum, fellow orchestra teacher, will present the 2020 Outstanding Educator Award to Mr. Doug Eink. Caroline?
Thank you. It is an honor to be here tonight. Doug shared a story with me the other day. I had asked him what his funniest moment was from teaching, and this is what he said. He was in the midst of preparing for a middle school concert, and he bent over, and his pants ripped big time. He didn't have a backup pair. So knowing all the pressure and all the little details that have to come together for a concert, I asked him, what did he do? So he said he made his principal loan him a pair of pants, the ones that he was wearing, until the concert was over. Yeah. The fact that he shared this story with me speaks to his ability to laugh at himself. He is usually laughing, and he's making things fun for those around him. It also speaks to how people around him are drawn to him and his passion for kids and music so much that they're willing to give the shirt off their back, or in this case, their pants. Doug is an orchestra director at Watts Middle School and at Centerville High School. He is the founder of the Alternative Strings program, which began over 20 years ago. Drawing on his love of bluegrass music, Doug started the program with the intention of introducing kids to jazz, swing, Celtic, and bluegrass, and many other non-traditional styles, encouraging hundreds of students to think outside the box, as their t-shirts used to say, to expand their horizons past the classical music taught in the school orchestra classroom. The Centerville Alternative Strings have become outstanding ambassadors for Centerville City Schools. Doug's annual Bluegrass Blowout concert in March gives students the rare opportunity to perform well. He gives the students a chance to put their mark on the music they perform by letting them actively participate as players with short solos, as well as singing or composing some of the pieces they play. The group also travels to perform at nationally known bluegrass festivals, performing on stage with nationally renowned artists. Alternative Strings, under Doug's guidance, has become so widely known in the bluegrass community that country artist Ricky Skaggs has extended an invitation to them to record an album in his studio in Nashville sometime soon. Colleagues note, Doug's demeanor and teaching styles show how he genuinely enjoys kids and rejoices in their triumphs. He spreads his love of music to those around him, and the enthusiasm he displays is infectious and engages students thoroughly. Through him, they gain a confidence not easily reached. He has high standards, which students know and willingly work hard to achieve. Doug also started his own School of Strings a few years ago when orchestra opportunities were no longer offered at the elementary school. One parent states, "I believe Mr. Eink's biggest contribution to education is bringing a love of music to all his students, regardless of their ability or background." And another said, "What I love the most is how excited he gets when he sees students truly experiencing and enjoying the music that they make together." Past and present students alike attest that Mr. Eink never puts anyone down for their amount of skill, but rather praises hard work, no matter the end result. He is loyal to his students, and they in turn are loyal to him. For Mr. Eink, it's always about the students and the music. I've only known Doug Eink for a few years, but I've quickly learned that he is an amazing musician, an inspirational teacher, and a great person to collaborate with. He is well respected in the community, both locally and outside in the music world, and it brings me great pleasure to present this award to my friend and colleague.
Okay, a little impromptu, okay? I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions for 30 seconds while Doug prepares. Here he comes, and
If you need a stretch break like I do, because it feels really good to stand for like 30 seconds,
rise. This is your opportunity.
stand, stretch. I'm gonna tell you something that may shock you. I never wanted to be a teacher. I didn't want to be one. I was kind of scared of them, actually. But the one thing that really pulled me in were the kids. I wasn't ready for that. So I fell in love with the job after I already had it. I want to thank the Education Foundation and all the members for the wonderful award. The recognition, it really means a lot. I had no idea I was going to get this. I had no idea in a million years this was going to be given to me. It's kind of an award that you would expect everybody else to get. And I'm deeply grateful. With my family here tonight, my biggest supporters, and they took the biggest hit probably at me in the office writing music till 3 o'clock in the morning, because the music that we play doesn't exist on paper. So I'd put that on paper for the kids, because most of the time it's handed down orally, and we just don't have time for that, sometimes a little bit. So as I catch my breath here, I'm feeling pretty good. I want to really thank one person who allowed this to happen, and this dates back quite a while. And I'm glad that the Big Elk is here tonight, because he was one of those special people that actually made this happen for a phone call from Terry Riley. Was kind of one of those kids that was in the office most of the time in elementary school, so being called to central office wasn't really any big deal. So I get a call from Terry. He's like, well, if you want to try this, whatever this is that you're trying, do it for a year and let's see what happens. I think I had 6 kids sign up the first year, and it was fun, and they all showed up. We did it once a week, maybe for an hour, and it seemed like it was pretty good. And the next year the group doubled in size. And he said, well, let's sit down and talk about it. And usually when they left the door open, you knew you weren't really in trouble. But when they closed the door, you're like, oh, no. So this was one of those times, and I was called to central office, and I think this was after our 3rd child, because Terry was like, you know how this happens, right? So too many. Anyway, so Terry closed the door, and I was like, oh, no, here we go. He said, well, just tell me how things were going. I said, well, the group's they got 22 kids in it now. I said, well, that's really great. He said, well, what do you want to do with it? Do you have a name for it? And I said, well, alternative strings. He's like, wow, that's weird. Alternative to what? And I said, no, an alternative as a umbrella for all the music that doesn't fall under classical music, meaning the Scandinavian music, the gypsy music, the Celtic, the bluegrass, the jazz, everything that our string kids never had a chance to study. The band program has it all figured out. They really do. They have something for all those kids, but we just had orchestra. I wanted to change that. So Terry said, one of the most frightening questions an educator can sit there in front of an administrator: how much is it going to cost? I wasn't prepared. I was like, $5? I mean, I was very quick to shut my mouth and think for a second. And I said, it's going to cost, I think because like I told you, most of the music wasn't even in print. But I knew of some arrangements I could get for maybe $200. And he was so relieved. He was like, whew, I thought you were going to say like 10 grand or something like that. So I said, we really don't need much. We already have music stands. We have chairs. I'll write the music for the kids, and, and we'll play it. We'll figure it out, I'll be a student with them if I have to. So it worked. And he's the one that really gave me the shot when he called Dave McDaniels and said, Dave, we're going to put this on the books, Alternative Strings. I was in the office when he called you and when you guys were working it out. So I'm not sure if it's $10 a year or whatever it was, but I was like, yes. I think the big thing in the story for me is that I felt, and I kind of am like this, I think, and maybe many of us are like this. You're aspiring educators and you feel kind of like the diamond in the rough, but you have something. If somebody would just listen and really put their belief into you, just let us do what we need to do. Get out of our way. Let us do it. Sometimes maybe not so good, but maybe this time was great. But I had a couple of people right there at the very beginning in the 90s that believed in me so much that it lit me on fire. And I just wanted to work and work and work. I mean, I didn't, 3 o'clock in the morning, so what? I got to be up at 6:30, who cares? I was really motivated. And that was important. I fell in love with teaching. I fell in love with motivating those kids, because the more they took, the more I wanted to work. The more that they enjoyed it, the more I wanted to give them. And I really appreciate, I'm going to say, Terry, thank you so much. Bob Yucks, thank you so much. Eileen Brewer, thank you so much. A partner in our community with Real Roots Radio. Joe Mullins has been a total, complete angel for our program and getting us out there to help Musicians Against Childhood Cancer raise over $1 million for St. Jude's Hospital. And that's been wonderful. I'm really proud to be a part of that program. My middle school principal, Brian Miller, thank you for that support. And also Beth Noble at the high school has been one of my parental supports since we were hired to save year 2, and we kind of bend each other's ear every now and then. But I want to thank those people who recognize us diamond in the rough people for having those maybe creative ideas that aren't really lined up with or boxed in to a real pretty situation, because you gave us a chance to shine, but also you gave our students a chance to shine too, the ones that are thinking differently. So it made me feel kind of normal. I appreciate that. So the one thing I want to say along those lines, just remember that every kid has a light bulb, and it's really up to us to find out how to make that shine. Thank you very much.
Before I invite John Carroll back up to the podium, I just wanted to share that, I've heard it a couple times about getting out of your way, It's something that the foundation actually works very hard to provide resources to all of you and your peers so that those obstacles can be removed. And it's such a great honor to be part of this event and be here with you all, and we're happy to get out of your way. Thank you. So, Mr. Carroll would come on up, please, and help present the 2021 Outstanding Student Award to Reese Clark.
Hit break again. Yeah. Well, I thought everybody else was a hard act to follow, and then somebody busted out a banjo. So thanks a lot, Doug. Whew. Before I call Reese up, it would be useless in my hands, I guarantee it. Most musical instruments are. But before I bring Reese, not everybody, just you, Reese. Before I bring Reese back up here to talk a little bit, I did want to just kind of notice a theme that I connected between Doug and between Brian and between Mike Cordonier, who's going to be recognized, and Ryan Mullenkamp, because the theme that I picked up is it wasn't the book, it wasn't the state curriculum that was making the difference, and you'll hear that, and what people didn't hear about Ryan is, having been years into a career and have somebody walk up to you and say, Ryan, we have this idea. It's called advanced manufacturing. We'd like you to kind of take a group of kids and mentor them and get them connected to internships. We don't do that in high school right now, but we'd like you to do it. And he just does it. And Mike Cordonier, every time I go down to him with a crazy idea, I need you to do this, he just jumps in. And so that was a theme that I was hearing as we were talking about the folks that are on our list today. And so I'm just grateful for the extra, the stuff that's not in the curriculum and not in the book that we do here in Centerville Schools. I think it makes a huge difference, so thank you all for that. So let's get Reese up here. Reese, you're going to come up with me because I'm not going to stand up here by myself. So come on up here while I talk about you. Ladies and gentlemen, Reese Clark, please welcome him. No offense, Dave, but this podium just got better looking. Right? Not with me, with Reese. So it's just really a pleasure for me to introduce Reese Clark to you tonight. Reese was chosen by his peers for this award, as Abby was as well. He is just as worthy of this award, and I can't possibly list everything about Reese. You could read about it; it'd still take you a while. He's just that good, and so is Abby. So he's being recognized for his leadership, his hard work, his service, and the service to the Centerville City Schools and to our community. We do have to talk a little bit about his academics. We're a school, so I'm going to do that. He has a 4.8046. I think I got that right? It's pretty specific. You got to be specific. He's in the top 5% of his class, member of the National Honor Society. And while that's impressive, that's just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, some things that maybe a college rep might look at, but there's so much more. Specifically, he's a highly effective leader, He's exhibited that leadership as president of the senior class this year. And as you know, as we talked about earlier, Spirit Chain works into that. And this year was dramatically different than any other year in Spirit Chain. We just broke a record last year. All of the class officers want to break the record. That's the expectation. It's really high expectation they set for themselves. But in a pandemic, it was under Reese's leadership that our senior class raised $40,000 for local charities, and I think that's just an impressive number by itself, so thank you, Reese. And I see, Matt Carper sitting over there as an 87 Centerville grad. Sorry, I'm the 87 Fairmont grad up here at the mic. So, and I didn't have a speech class, Mr. Carper, so I apologize, Senior Mr. Carper. But we, between Fairmont and Centerville, I am proud of our two communities. Over $2.3 million raised for charity through Spirit Chain. So it's just an outstanding accomplishment for our kids. Again, our kids do it. Mike Dalton, who's a senior class officer advisor, gave me a quote about Reese, and he said, Reese inspires others to work hard to a common goal. He encourages ownership of activities within the student council group. He has a quiet confidence, and he's always leading by example in his day-to-day actions, not just words. Reese himself, when we talked a few days ago, credits his leadership interest to his brother Alex and to having an incredibly supportive family and an incredibly supportive friend group. So those are the ones that are driving him through this leadership journey. He's heavily involved. If you look in the on their online description that we have, Spanish Club, Investment Club, HOSA, which is health professionals, future health professionals, Pi Club, which seems to be the vehicle to become the student of the year. Yeah. It's not a math club; they eat pie. So, but apparently, if you're not in Pi Club, you don't get in to the Hall of Fame. So. But he is also involved in Chem Buddies and Out Connectors, and I highlight those because, again, it's kind of an example of him mentoring younger people so that they can find success. You're going to sense that theme coming up here. In addition, just for some fun, I did recently learn that Reese has a particular talent that as a dancer, right? So, in fact, he has his own dance named after him. Raise your hand if your own dance, you have your own dance named after you. Go ahead, raise your hand. Raise your hand. You got your yeah. It's called the Reese. You want to bust that out for us, or?
Yeah, I can if you guys want.
If you want to, man, it's up to you. It's your show.
No, nothing to do at all.
Okay. There it is. I've seen it. Thank you, Reese. I've had the pleasure of seeing that a few times, but it's usually in a basketball locker room or after a victory. So I knew you would do it. I just knew you would do it. So thank you for doing that. Reese is a member of our state champion state basketball team. Very exciting for us here in Centerville in a really hard year to have such a highlight from that. And head coach Brooke Cupp said this about Reese, and it's going to be hard for me to make it through this, Reese. I'm going to be honest. Okay, I'm going to try though. He said, his first priority is always others. I have never had the opportunity to coach a better teammate. I am forever grateful for his impact on me, our players, and our program. Tough, passionate, unified, and thankful to the core. I love Reese Clark. Those are true words, and you know that man loves you, right? So our basketball players, in case you don't know it, are steeped in a culture that's focused on core values. Finding your purpose, finding your why is a pretty common theme in there. When I talked to Reese and I asked him, what is your why? He said it's to make others feel valued and to empower them to find their why. And Reese, I want you to know I'm just so proud of your leadership, and I'm proud of you for really living your why for the whole 4 years at Centerville High School. You've really achieved that. You've inspired so many and empowered them, and I'm just grateful. I'm personally grateful to be the principal of Centerville High School. I get extra grateful whenever I meet with you and the class officers, and it's just a spectacular gift that I have to be able to do. You're an amazing young man. Reese plans to attend Wake Forest University this fall to study environmental science and political science. I'm certain he will continue to make a positive impact, much like Abby. Whoever gets Reese Clark is lucky. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Hall of Fame Outstanding Student for 2021, Reese Clark.
Thanks so much, Mr. Carroll. Evening, everybody. I just want to share real quick how grateful I am that we were able to have the banquet this year and celebrate each one of us and recognize all the great educators, alumni, and community members that are being honored here tonight from this year and last. It's a great opportunity for me to reflect on my time here in Centerville and celebrate everyone who has such an impact on my life. So thank you, Mrs. Lehman, Mr. Garrell, all the trustees for putting this on in the midst of an unpredictable year. My class of 2021, comprises like 700 different perspectives, backgrounds, opinions, and upbringings. And as president, I've been honored to help forge and protect this class identity. And I'm thankful for all my classmates and teachers in their role of challenging and enhancing my perspectives throughout the years and selecting me for this award. So thank you to everyone. I want to thank my family too, especially my parents. Your love and support and encouragement has been everything to me and has put me in the position I am today. Your radiant personality shines through in my motivations and endeavors, and I attribute lots of my success to you. This exuberance, this passion has been my fuel throughout my 4 years. Finding my why, my purpose for being here has been crucial. Small example, Mr. Rash, philosophy teacher, once explained to me how we all think, speak, live within a small, inescapable bubble, and our realities are relative to each one of our cultures, ages, backgrounds. After hearing this, I've made it my mission to help conversing, keep the conversation going, constantly forming new bonds, new friendships that encourage others to be their best too. Whether it was playing a vital yet unnoted role on our state championship basketball team, shout out to Coach Leicher back there, working, volunteering, traveling with the Spanish department, or creatively leading our fantastic herd this year during an unusual time. The countless opportunities Centerville has gifted me has allowed me to expand my comfort zone and instill confidence in others. So I'm forever grateful for the community support and guidance throughout the years. Thank you, everybody, again.
Reese, there's an envelope that's sitting on top of Abby's speech in my office that does have a letter in it about your $500 scholarship that is accompanying this award. So stop by my office and I'll get that to you. Thank you. I'm going to go sit down now.
Thanks, John. Katie Baker, principal at Klein Elementary, will now come to the podium to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee for 2021 Citizen Advocate, Kristen Coker.
Good evening. Katie Barker, principal at Klein. This is my second year, and it's been an adventurous 2 years. I didn't know what I got signed up for here, but I must say it's wonderful to sit tonight. I was thinking, sitting over there with my wonderful recipients, I'm just going to shout out to the Klein ones there. Isn't it nice to celebrate something together? Feels good. So congratulations to all the winners out there, and really just this great community. It's nice. It was nice to drive, a minute down the street and come here, and I can't say public speaking is my favorite, but to celebrate each other and share these great things is a good thing. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad it's a long night. I think we haven't had these in a long time. So it is my privilege to introduce Kristen Coker. She's the recipient this year of the Citizen Advocate Award. Kristen was one of the very first people I met in Centerville after I accepted the position at a PTO meeting. And she had this lovely tray of ice sugar cookies, which if that can't win you over, big smile. She was ready to welcome me to Klein and to our family there. So Kristen and I have worked on many things in the last 2 years. And one thing you'll learn about her is she's willing to really take on anything, any task, anything that will help support the school. But her true strength lies in supporting our teachers. Special lunches, Teacher Appreciation Week, coffee runs. Kristen makes sure we know she cares. Her creativity and energy in these endeavors is always amazing. She can transform a bright yellow cafeteria into, I think it was like a camping event or something, tents and all kinds of things just for lunch for teachers. That's a pretty amazing thing. Even during our school shutdown last year during the pandemic, Kristen made sure all of our teachers, all of our staff had special gifts, had treats, were cared about and thought about. She continues her efforts during this year as well, working with Restoration Church. She helped arrange the free Starbucks for all the Centerville staff, which I'm sure several of you were able to take advantage of just a few weeks ago. So according to her nominator, Tony Miltenberger, Kristen is committed to finding ways to help our community. She serves as Director of Children and Family Minister and is committed to making sure families in Centerville have what they need. She participates in important dialogues about race and family, helps with the adoptive family, and always keeps her service-first mindset for the kids in our community. Personally, I'm very thankful for Kristen's dedication to Klein, and especially to our PTO. It really is a gift to find someone to partner with to serve our school and community. So congratulations, Kristen.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much to the Centerville Education Foundation. This is not about me, but it is about you guys. You're the ones that are in the classrooms, in the school buildings, day to day, doing what you love, even when it's hard for those students. And so I'm just blessed to be able to come alongside you guys and support and encourage you. I did not grow up in Centerville, but I've lived here long enough that I do now consider it home. When my husband and I moved to this area about 17 years ago, we chose Centerville because of the outstanding reputation that the Centerville schools had, and we knew that at some point we would have kids and we wanted them to be in Centerville. Now with 3 children in the district, we understand what that reputation is all about and the impact that these teachers sitting here and the ones who aren't here tonight have on all of our kids. About 5 years ago, I was in the midst of a job change, and I had the opportunity to work in Centerville at a church, but I also had some opportunities to work in some other towns nearby in their churches. And as my husband and I were making the decision about where would be the best fit for myself, it really came back to the fact that I wanted to continue to be in Centerville because I wanted to be able to have the time and be close to be able to assist and just help wherever was needed in the schools where our kids were in schools. And so I made the decision to work at Restoration Church in Centerville because it was in Centerville. And it's been a blessing. I basically live off Franklin Street now because the church is there. My kids' schools are off of there. Their sports are frequently dropped off somewhere along Franklin Street. So Franklin basically feels like home to me. I'm able to have the best of both worlds. I work in Centerville, but yet am so close and can be in the schools and help and serve however is needed. So where I work at Restoration Church, one of our goals is to support our community and our schools. We are unapologetically, and we say this to people all the time, we are unapologetically for Centerville. And so when people come to our church and they are from, say, Springboro, we say, hey, we're glad to have you, but you need to know, like, our focus and where we're pouring everything into is Centerville. So it's allowed me to do so many things to support you guys in the schools. So again, it's not about me, it's the fact that we're there supporting you in all that you're doing. And so we get to do the Starbucks and let you guys know we appreciate you and thank you for what you're doing. And we enjoy dropping donuts off at the bus barn super crazy early in the morning to let them know we appreciate them. One of my favorite things is getting a call from the Centerville Police or a school counselor or a teacher saying, hey, we have a need, can you guys help? And we have worked on building those relationships in the schools and in the community so that you guys know you can call us because we want to support you. You're the ones with the kids and with the families seeing those needs, and we can be there to support you because you have a big job to do without those things. So I just want to thank you guys for all you do. And there's something special in Centerville, and I'm just super excited that I get to be a part of it. So thank you.
And finally, Mr. Jason Heyman, Theater Director and teacher at Centerville High School, will present the 2021 Outstanding Educator Award to Mr. Mike Cordonier. Jason?
Okay. Good evening. Mike Cordonier is a graduate of Centerville High School, so he was already familiar with the Centerville High School theater program when he began volunteering to help build sets for theater productions. But he shared with me once that when he came to help, he was surprised to see that it was the adults and not the theater kids who were doing the work. And that is the mindset of an outstanding educator. If you came to see Mike's classes today, you'd see the outcome of his care in building a technical theater program where students learn and grow every single day. They ask questions, they collaborate in teams, they see solutions to problems. When things aren't working, they figure it out. Mike teaches beginners how to use a drill and a tape measure. He teaches developing workers how to practice building and painting, and he teaches advanced students how to be mentors to the beginners. Mike's classroom extends outside the school day, where he oversees the technical end of CHS theater productions. And if you truly want to see what learning can look like when it's applied, the real show isn't on stage, but behind the scenes. The ropes are raising and lowering the scenery, buildings are rolling on and off in seconds, furniture is sliding into place in complete silence and often in complete darkness as well. On opening night, the production runs itself backstage thanks to a team of leaders and workers who support each other, who are ready to solve their problems independently, and who are invested in their success. They don't get to this point by accident. It takes a teacher who cares about their growth as students and as young adults. Mike's students know that he values their hard work and creativity, and he gives them a space to become better people by supporting their growth in the traits that matter most, the ones that they'll need in any career, like communication, time management, initiative, flexibility, responsibility, and in the last year, resilience. This Hall of Fame distinction is not the only special recognition that Mike has received. In my short time at Centerville High School, I have seen a remote-controlled chicken named for Mr. C, an episode of a podcast that featured him. You might not even know about all these, Mike, but we'll several memes that feature Mr. C, and my personal favorite, last year, a carnival game where players win by knocking down slackers and excuses and vegetables. Mike is a humble person who is ready to support other causes and celebrations at our school, like the Circle of Friends prom, the new chicken coop in the field next to CHS, and today's art signing celebration for graduates who are continuing in the arts fields. He'll probably also tell you that having great students makes the difference, and that's the reason why we love to do what we do. But tonight's a chance to celebrate all that you do, Mike, and the tremendous impact that you have on students who pass through your doors. So on behalf of the Centerville Education Foundation, the students and staff of Centerville High School and the Centerville High School Theater Program, please join me in thanking and congratulating Mike Cordiner.
I am in the theater department, but I am backstage for a reason. This is not, this whole performing thing, that was awesome. That was awesome. All of you speak wonderfully. I do not, but yeah. Like Jason said, I'm part of the theater department. I'm actually part of career ed, so it was great that Mark and Ryan. In fact, when I texted Ryan, I'm like, they gave like 2 guys who play in Sawdust these great awards. I was like, that was pretty cool. But career education gives me an opportunity to be pretty flexible in what I do and the way I teach and that sort of thing. And I do not. I teach technical theater, which is all the backstage stuff, the lighting and the set and the sound and all of that. But what I really do is I prepare students to be successful when they move on. Okay, to me that's the sign that okay, I've done a good job. I want to thank a few people, certainly the foundation, for this award. I think it was Doug. You said that those awards go to people not like us, right? Yeah. So it was one of the few times I was shocked in my life when Mr. Carroll on Zoom announced that I got an award. This is not teacher material. So it is my 3rd career, by the way. I did not start out as a teacher. I started out as an engineer, went into business and started a company and sold that, and then got into teaching. So the people that were up there that have been for 30 years. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's just wonderful. Yeah, so thank you to the foundation. My family is here tonight. My son and daughter, they had the distinct pleasure of being in the school where I taught. So that was probably kind of like for the Carpers as well. So, but they were good kids, so didn't have to worry about showing up in any principal's offices or anything like that. So that was wonderful. My wife is here. She's put up with a lot of long hours when we were building the theater program. It was, it's a lot to build something, so it takes a lot. And my 88-year-old mother is here. So. And when I think it was Brian, did you mention that you were in Mr. Lindley's office? Or who was that? Huh? Once or twice. So my mom was the secretary at Watts for Mr. Lindley. So Brian may be rekindling another friendship. So But yes, I moved to Centerville, or we moved to Centerville in 1967. So I am a Centerville graduate. I went to Weller, and Gary Smeaga's not here. He was my 4th grade teacher. So I know, right? And this might be slightly embarrassing to Dr. Henderson, but we went to Dunsinane Swim Club over there on Spring Valley because we lived right by Weller, and I can distinctly remember Dr. Henderson being a lifeguard there. So, yes, but yeah. And then I went to Watts Middle School for 1 year, where I had the distinct pleasure of having my mom in the same school as I was in. And then I went to Mag-Sig when Mag-Sig reopened as a middle school. So, and then to the high school. I met my wife Joan when I was 14 years old. We've been together ever since. So, yeah. So I've been around Centerville for a long time. So it's a great community. When we had kids, we did not live in Centerville. We had moved out of the area, and then we knew that our kids were gonna go to Centerville. So off we moved back when my son Adam was about to start kindergarten. So, but we knew that there was no other district that we were going to. So I was very fortunate when I was able to start teaching in Centerville. So, yeah. So, like I said, I like to prepare students for after high school. I'm very upfront with them about it. We talk about it all the time. We talk about life skills. Yes, we do a lot of theater, but we incorporate a lot of life skills into it because I think that's really, really important, right? So. No offense to any science teachers in the district or in the room here, but I tell them the stuff that you're going to learn, these life skills that you're going to learn, the work ethic, and all of that, you're probably going to use that more than the periodic table. So, but yeah. So a couple of examples of that. One. I had a student who, a couple of years ago, Allie, she was going into international business at UC. I have no idea what international business is, but it sounds very impressive. So she was going into international business. She was not really a theater person. I don't really know why she went into our program. A lot of kids come into our program for a lot of different reasons, but she chose to come into that program, did fine in that. And she came back after her, I think it was after her sophomore year. She said, Mr. C, I'm part of this club at UC for this international business thing. We had this idea that we were gonna put up whiteboards all around the campus, and we were gonna write questions on there that kind of get people thinking and whatever. And it's what we were going to do for this club. That sounds like a fine thing to do. She said, except we were all international business people and no one knew how to build anything. So she goes, we didn't have a lot of money, so we couldn't just go out and buy whiteboards. She goes, so after we kind of kicked around this idea, I kind of sheepishly raised my hand and said, I took a class in technical theater. I can figure out how to build these things. I can figure out how to get them assembled, get the manpower, get the groups together, manage those groups to get them out into the campus. And she goes, the only reason I was able to do that, and I was the only person in this entire club that had those skills, was because of the program that she went through with technical theater. To me, that's a win. You know, when you look for, I forget, all great speeches, someone was talking about the motivation and what is the motivation we have, and especially with this year and everything going on. You know, for me, that's the motivation, right? That's the motivation to keep teaching is, you know, when you hear stories like that. So, and it's not that a student comes back and tells me about this great thing that they do with theater and stage lighting and that sort of thing. I have those stories too. Not as not as powerful as those. The other story that I had was a girl. She needed a place, and I have a lot of people in my program that need a place. We all know those kids, right? So, but she needed a place. She didn't really wasn't a big theater geek or anything like that. Below average student, and she came from very limited means. And she came to me, she said, "Mr. C, can I borrow a drill?" I'm like, of course you can borrow a drill. What, is there anything I can help you with? Do you need anything? And anything extra, anything like that? She's like, "No, I think the drill will be fine." I'm like, "Well, just out of curiosity, what are you doing with it?" I didn't really care, I trusted her, whatever, but I like to get kids to be talking, okay? There's a lot of things come out when you get kids, when you get them to trust you and when they start talking. So she said, "We live in an apartment, and the only thing we have covering the windows is sheets. It's all my mom can afford is sheets." And she said, and it really embarrasses her. And she said all she wanted was blinds on the window. And she didn't buy the blinds for the window because she had no idea how to put them up. So she was a single mom, and her daughter said, "You know what? I can do that. I learned at school how to use drills. I learned how to, to use a tape measure. I learned all of that. I can put those up if we can do that." And that's what she did. Huge win. To me, that's why I do what I do. So, but I have lots of stories like that, but those are the things that keep me motivated. Hopefully, I'm sure that we all, teachers, have similar stories of those as well, but those are the kind of the ones that stand out. So thank you very much for the award. Thank you, Jason, for the wonderful, the backstory. I'd forgotten about the chicken. So yes, I'd forgotten about the chicken. I know nothing about memes. So I might have to look those up or go ask some people. You might have to fill me in. But yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you.
I might be wrong with this, but Mike, I think from being in your role in the theater, you may have taken up some of the talents of those people that are on stage, because I think you did a great job presenting. So good job. Thank you again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so incredibly fortunate to be part of a community dedicated, parents, volunteers, students, teachers, staff, and administrators who work towards providing an excellent education for our children. Thank you for all of your support for this past decades. At this time, I have the pleasure of presenting the Hall of Fame plaque to the Centerville Education Board President, Mr. Jeff Schroyer. Come on up, Jeff. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Appreciate everything. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Centerville Board of Education, Dr. Rohr, Mr. Dahl, Mrs. Dernball, and Mrs. Sparks, I want to thank the Education Foundation for everything that you all individually and collectively have done for the last 36 years for the teachers in the district. And I want to also congratulate each and every one of you that received awards tonight. Congratulations on behalf of the Board of Education. And you've heard me say this probably many times before, but individually and collectively, you are all an inspiration. Thank you.
Well, I would say that our kind of COVID environment presentations tonight went pretty well, wouldn't you? Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Before we leave tonight, I got a couple of announcements and a bunch of people to thank, so bear with me here. One is just to continue to talk about, you may have seen our Lego kits. The Lego kits are kind of an experiment that the foundation has used to collectively spread the Elk Pride joy. And we have access to the Elk Pride token and memorabilia that you can keep for your students or for yourselves or for your graduates and alumni, all people. And we are very excited about this because it's just something that we did this year. And I want to thank Allison Dernbaugh, who led this project for us. And you can see how to order these on our website, again, at www.centervilleeducation.org. So thank you for that. Check it out, and you can order them there. The other thing I wanted to introduce that we're going to be doing a little bit differently this year, and so kind of put a mark on your calendar for late July. The foundation is going to be hosting a golf event, and at this point, I know we've got up here that the date is July 29th. We're working with Yankee Trace to kind of finalize that. It's not going to be a super competitive golf outing. It is really for appreciation of all you do, the community members. The theme that we're going to be working with is just play golf for fun. We're going to do 9 holes and then collect back here for a little bite to eat. But it's sort of just an appreciation thing that we're going to be doing, and as a way to continue the work that the foundation does. As well, I wanted to make sure that you are aware of our 50/50 raffle. We're going to be sending out our mailing for that. Most of you participate in that one way or another. And our Americana Festival this year, we will be there. God willing, I think everything is still on track for that. But we are hoping to be there in our at the Centerville Education Foundation booth, having raffle tickets available there as well. Now, thank you. A very big shout out and thank you to Susie Carroll. She is the owner of Susie's Sweets, and she was the provider of the delicious COVID-friendly treats at the table. And so thank you very much to Susie. I also wanted to thank, I know Jeff recognized the members of the board. I want to appreciate all that they do as well. And the administrators that are here and that are not here and able to continue to support us in the district. And thank you very much for all of them. As well, and this is the big one, I want to thank the committee that organizes this event. So it's never a job of one, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out the significant amount of time, effort, and energy and tears that were shed because we canceled last year by Ms. Tony Lehman. Thank you so much for all you do. Also, as part of Tony's committee for organizing this event was Susan Ralston, Allison Dernbaugh, and Rajiv Goel. And Rajiv also had on his team 2 of our interns. I don't know, Matthew and Meha. Yeah, thank you very much for all their work they did this year. I also want to thank the mass communications team and Eli Leaker and the students that have helped with our video production, which in of itself is a magnificent feat because we're going to be able to have this broadcast. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, next week we'll have the recording of this event for all of your colleagues that weren't able to attend tonight so they can pick up the event and watch it at home. So thank you to all of you that helped in setting that up for us. Prestige Portraits, they have donated time to for our Hall of Fame inductees and preparing the photos. They are great sponsors of our event. We want to thank them as well. Yankee Trace for providing this newly remodeled, amazing event facility. So I think it's been great that we're here. I can only say that I hope that next year this room's full with 300 people again. So thank you all for a great evening. I really appreciate your time being here and look forward to seeing you next year.